Hey everyone, Mr. Mom Collectibles. I am back with another quick little review and video on the second Ghostbuster to enter my collection from Blitzway, and it is none other than Peter Venkman himself, Bill Murray. For those who have watched the previous video that I did of Ray, who I made a pretty in-depth video on this one, and I teased that there was another Ghostbuster to join him, and we do now have Peter. He did actually come on President's Day, which was surprising. I thought we weren't getting mail, but he did show up in the afternoon. I did an unboxing of him there, and wanted to film something. This isn't going to be as glamorous as the first video where I kind of clickbaited the thumbnail. This is just going to be straightforward, but I still wanted to review some things about this figure because there's just some awesome things that Blitzway has done with these characters, getting them one by one. I am, for me in my financial situation, it's easier for me to try to piece them out and get them individually. Yes, it is going to make the job harder when we're coming to, talking about Egon and specifically Winston. Winston being the hardest, so it's going to be one of those patience and crossing that bridge when we get to it. But Peter is this is a really great figure. For those who've had these figures I've spoken with, arguably these are the two best head sculpts of the four figures. I thought Ray was just absolutely fantastic in terms of that likeness, and Peter is right there in terms of it just captures a certain look of each character. And so the biggest thing that I love about these Blitzway Ghostbusters figures is, there's four figures, and each one of them just have subtle differences in either their style, their accessories, how the uniform is done that really sets them and makes them unique. And that's how the characters were in the movie. So the reason why I have Peter here is just breaking down some differences between him and Ray. And Peter does stand out specifically because he is the only one that does not tuck his pants, his jumpsuit into his boots, unlike the other three Ghostbusters, as you can see there. So that makes it a distinguishable difference. Obviously, the head sculpt is really just a fantastic looking head sculpt there. And the one thing I wanted to document on this video that I did not do with Ray, just because, my first time dealing with this Ghostbuster, I didn't want to really push certain limits with him. But with Peter, I do have him with the neutrino wand in full action, and there is the proton stream itself. So when I did the Ray video, I did not document, or videotape the stream actually on the gun. And here we go. I'm just kind of showing you guys what the stream looks like. It is just such a cool looking effect. It's almost like a clear, like a crystal, replicating that neutrino wand coming out of the blaster there. And it's just so cool. It is actually a piece of metal that goes into the clear tube at the end here, so it is pretty well in place. I know people have worried about it like kind of falling over, but it's very sturdy. I'm very surprised how well this is and how it holds up. Putting the hands on to get the neutrino one on, it was a little difficult. You don't want to break this figure, so what I did was I actually applied the gloves to the hands first, to the back and front handles. So once they were fixed to the neutrino wand, I then put the hands onto the body. I thought that was the easier way of doing it, and the pose looks really well. I angled it perfectly so that way Peter, when you see Peter, he's looking dead on. So it kind of, it all fits, so it doesn't look like it's out of place. But it's the presence of this is just so amazing. And like I said, what I like about each figure is, each one of them has characteristics of their own. For example, Ray, wearing the ecto goggles, holding the trap. That's very Ray-esque. Peter, you can do different things with him, smoking a cigarette or having, no gloves on, him walking around. He does come with a pair of gloves that you can fold up and put over the belt or in the pocket, so you have that option as well. I know Egon has the PKE meter, and then Winston, more or less smoking a cigarette, holding the trap maybe. So you can pose these figures up kind of respectively individual, or eventually when I get all four, I want to have them like this with the streams all at the same time. I think that's going to be a very impactful display. But for now, I'm not trying to push the limits of the figures. They are a little bit older. I am using these stands, which still suck. I said it sucks on Ray, still sucks on Peter. But those stands are critical, at least right now, to avoid them toppling over because of the weight of the pack. It could pull them backwards, so to speak, and fall over. So, that's perfectly fine. So as I'm getting these, I will be posing them kind of individually. Like Ray, I'm not touching his pose. He's just going to stay like this with the trap, holding it out like that. And then Peter, so far so good on this pose. Going to keep him the way it is with the neutrino wand out with the stream shooting out. And like I said, eventually, right now I'm going to be hunting down Egon. I am open to Egon and Winston, but I think my chances of getting Egon are a little more realistic than Winston at the moment. So if I end up securing an Egon, I'll have him with the PKE meter, which is very kind of, you know, symbolic with him since he's the one that uses that instrument the most. So I'll be really excited about that. But I got to say, these two, you know, the presence on Ray alone was amazing on the shelf, but having these two next to each other is just so unbelievable. And it's hard for me to fathom eventually having all four. I have thought about it. I am tossing around the idea of, you know, like I said before, I have the Present Toys Winston on order through 1/6 kit. I am debating about keeping that and adding that to the collection and having that as like technically the fourth. But as I said, I don't know what the quality of that's going to look like compared to these. I am also interested in doing a comparison with Winston or getting, you know, he would be the only one I would get since I already have Peter, I have Ray. I'm not going to double up on these figures. So the only one I would get is Winston from Present Toys. He is not, you know, not cheap. I think it's like $220, but I am interested to see now having these in hand and kind of going over some of the details, how Present Toys handled this, how much of the items were recasted, how much are original, the sculpts, the body, because I was now looking at the photos of Peter from Present Toys, and at first I just thought the sculpt looked off, but it's definitely some other things I'm noticing. So I am interested in maybe doing a side-by-side comparison. We'll see how that goes. My other side to it is I don't really want to spend $200 on a third-party figure when I could invest that money into Winston, because he will be the most expensive one to attempt to chase down. But as I said, I think I have more than enough time, so crossing that bridge when I get to it. I do not see that in the foreseeable future. It's going to be a little while, but I am on the lookout for Egon. I'm checking. You know, I've reached out to some sources that I get figures from, so I'm just keeping my ear to the ground, see if I see anything. But I am so ecstatic about these figures. Without a doubt, I'm not saying either one of them is better than the other, but these are the two favorites in my entire 1/6 scale collection. The only thing that can maybe top this is an Ecto 1 84, not the Afterlife, the 84 Ecto 1. That can maybe top these figures. But nevertheless, guys, a lot of the features on Peter are the same, the pack and everything like that. There's not too many details that are different, aside from, like I said, the jumpsuit untucked from the boots, the head sculpt, and like I said, the pose that I have here, once again, is the Neutrino wand, the blast effect, which I did not do on Ray, so I'm just kind of zooming in on that so you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like on Peter, just kind of playing around with the camera right now, getting a couple shots. But he just, like I said, it's hard to choose between these two, which one's my favorite. But that sculpt on Peter, it looks so good, and it really does capture Bill Murray. It's just unbelievable. And like I said, to have this in the collection is just, it's mind-blowing. Filming this video even right now, I'm having a hard time grasping that these two are sitting on my desk and my little table in front of me. But nevertheless, I just want to recap this to make a little document for the channel. Like I said, I will be doing a couple more follow-up videos. One of the videos I have in mind is if these were to be 2.0'd or a newer version put out, what changes would I like to see? Because seeing these figures, there's definitely a couple things that maybe I would recommend as upgrades or changes, whether it be a Ghostbusters 2, whatever. I'm just gonna have fun with that video. So I'll be making that video shortly. Like I said, it's not meant to be I'm not trying to nitpick on anything, but there's definitely some things that I would see if I could 2.0 these, or if there was a Ghostbusters 2 set coming out, what changes would I like to see in those as well. So be on the lookout for that video. I'll probably be filming that in the next couple days when I have some time available. But if you guys like what you see here, definitely drop a like on the video. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I also do have my channel memberships open if you're interested in joining the Scrunchy Squad. Yeah, that's my little joke that I have going on. So if you're interested in joining, I'll have that link in the video description as well. And drop a comment. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on these. Anyone out there that does have these figures, I'd love to connect with you guys. These are super rare. I mean, me just trying to track these things down now, I'm just realizing incredibly how rare these figures are and just how hard it is to get anything for them. So I definitely want to hear from you guys. Drop a comment below. But until then, this is Mr. Mom Collectibles saying take care, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.